Welcome to Reconciling Raleigh with Pastor Olden Thornton. Coming up on today's show, the debate is raging over same-sex marriage. It's an issue that can impact families in North Carolina. We'll explain in tonight's Reconciling Raleigh.
Yeah, and I think it's so important now for us as the church to come outside of the four walls and get on the front lines of some of these issues, because it's one thing to just sit back and watch the news and see these things take place and pray for them after the fact, but I think we need to be a little more proactive now, and I thank God for what you guys are doing, and we don't need to start any other new organizations. We need to just team up with what you're doing, get behind you guys, and not only that, but you have a budget, you know, that you're dealing with too, to even start a coalition like this, you know, and that budget is not just pennies either, you know. You want to talk about that a little bit too as well?
I'd be happy to. We've consulted with other states who have just passed marriage amendments, with California, Arizona, and Florida, and we feel like it's going to take about $500,000 to fund this campaign. And we're not worried about where the money is going to come from. We know it will come in, but it will be important for people of faith to think about contributing to this movement, and not just contributing, but as you pointed out, to act, to get up and do things and be involved in this movement, because if people of faith don't care about this issue, then who will? Yeah.
Now, the viewers who are watching right now, what can be their role? I know they can pray. That's for one thing. We know they can pray, but in terms of calling, you know, within their own districts, calling their legislators, I mean, talk about that a little bit.
Well, of course they can pray, and we really want them to pray foremost and primary for the campaign. After they pray, we would like for them to involve their neighbors and their friends and their communities in the movement. We'd like for them to have home parties, we're calling them, where they invite people that they know into their homes to tell them about the importance of marriage and why it's under attack in our state, why we're a target for same-sex marriage, because most people out in the communities don't realize that we are a target, and it hasn't impacted them personally yet, but we certainly are a target. So we'd like for people to get their friends and neighbors involved in the campaign. And then we'd like for them to come to Raleigh on March the 3rd for a big marriage rally that's being sponsored by Return America, another group that we've partnered with on this marriage campaign. And at that rally, David Barton of Wall Builders and David Gibbs of the Christian Law Association will be there to speak. And so it will be very entertaining just to be there, but that's not the primary purpose of the rally. The purpose is to get constituents into the state capitol so they can meet with their legislators face to face and tell them how important marriage is. But if they can't be here on March 3rd, then we encourage them to call their legislators, to write their legislators, to come down to the state capitol on some other day when they're in Raleigh or close by and meet with the legislator. What's most persuasive is when a legislator hears from a constituent in his or her district.
People, please mark your calendars out there, March 3rd. Now, it's interesting too, we saw President-elect, you know, we saw him draw over 25,000 people.
We did.
You know, I mean, I think that was a record, you know.
It was, and we'd like to draw over 25,000 people to the state capitol on March 3rd. So bring a busload from your church. That's what we're encouraging.
Amen, amen.